Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Shadowrun Hong Kong. Let me just remember what I'm doing real quick. No, I was shopping. I went and bought the new drone and then realized that I didn't have the point yet to control 2 drones, so I put that in. So my karma's down a bunch. And now one of my drones, the new drone, is in my stash, so I need to go get my stash. Oh, there's a hatch here. I can actually go down and talk to Mr. Russian down there. At least I assume. Stash! There you are. I can now equip 2 drones. Yay! 2 drones! Oh, can I only have 1 out at a time? I think I have 2 out. No, I have 2 out. Okay, good. Good. The drone I got was the this one. Excuse me, it doesn't tell you? Ah, there you are. Semi-automatic rifle turret. It reminded me of back when I was an enforcer in the first game and I was just semi-automaticing everything to death. So I figured that was gonna be good. So I took that one. Now I can probably go and sell the shotgun, but while we're here, let's just go down the hatch. See what we find. Racter. Ah, I was wondering when I'd meet the new neighbor. Please stay where you are. I'll be with you in just a moment, and unless you fancy an unplanned trip to Chroma Lake, don't touch anything. There are all manner of tools in here that could take your hand clean off. Take your time, I won't touch anything. Or thanks for the warning, just thanks for the warning. Don't mention it. I have no interest in seeing anyone hurt in my shop, especially not my upstairs neighbor. What's on the screen then? Very good. Yes, that's coming along nicely. Very nicely indeed. So sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. This. Street name. Let's go. You're too kind. Now tell me, what can I do for... Please don't mind the drone, he can be territorial, but so long as you remain civil, he will not bite. Oh, that was his drone. Racter, my mechanical counterpart here, is called Crochet. A pleasure. Let's stay civil with everyone, alright? I'm very pleased to meet you, my friend. In a community such as Haoi, it's important to be on good terms with one's neighbors. Sure, let's talk to you then. Very well, this morning's casting should still be cooling for a few minutes yet. That's time enough to talk. Okay, what do you mean by that? Exactly what I said, a casting that I made of a new locomotive assembly for Crochet. A biomimetic design, as you can see. This one is inspired by the walking legs of a decapod crustacean, the mangrove crab to be specific. That's... You're designing drone parts? And fabricating them, yes! I mean, it's cool, I would imagine. Outsource the fabric? Simpler, yes, but not better. Yeah, I have ultimate control over the entire process, from start to finish, and I have the skills to make good use of that control. Drone architecture was once my profession, you see. Now that I have freed myself from the shackles of corporate servitude, I see little reason to rely on outsiders for much of anything. Crochet is an interesting name for a drone. Yes, I suppose that it is. Not many riggers would name their most prized possession after a villain from a fairy tale. A nod to my heritage, I suppose. What was a fairy tale about? A thoroughly unpleasant person, Crochet, the Deathless. He was called, and for good reason. His soul was cleverly hidden outside of his body, and he could not be killed so long as it remained intact. Koshchei was a villain, and a notorious kidnapper of women, but something about him always stuck with me. Suppose it was the notion of immortality through cleverness that resonated. There was something to be learned from that, I was sure. And so, when it came time to name my beloved creation, his was the first name that came to mind. Well, he doesn't have a soul, that's for sure. In a matter of speaking, I suppose that he is. I have redundant copies of every piece of his architecture, and his core programming is stored on a disk in a secret location. Should he ever suffer critical damage, I can easily bring him back. I had a plan once to automate the self-repair process. I must confess I was really quite ingenious, but alas my research was lost. One day I will reclaim it, and Koshchei will be as deathless as the stories claim, but it will not be today. This, I guess. The same could be said of many in Haoi, I'm sure. This is a smuggler's den, is it not? Our entire economy is based on people having things that they shouldn't. Is there a particular device that interests you, out of curiosity? I'm also interested in the drone, but that's, you know, me being a rigger. Koshchei, but my friend, you're wrong. You'll never find his like in any corporate factory or lab. He is mine. My own creation, from the top of his sensor cluster to the tip of his claws. I designed him, fabricated his components, and built him by hand. That is impressive, actually. No more than anyone else who follows his passions and perfects his crafts. Like the monk up there. There. You have a good ear, I'm impressed. Yes, I grew up in Nizhny Novgorod. Went to school there, started my career there in the industrial sector. A fairly common story, I'm sure. But I also have traveled a great deal, and in so doing, I have absorbed a number of other languages and dialects. How many do you speak? Counting Russian and Cantonese, 15. It chimes me to admit that I'm only literate in 12. However, well, it's still impressive, yes. Still impressive. Perhaps when compared to the common man, but I've known a great many polyglots who can and do put me to shame. Arabic has been a particular bugbear of mine. The unfamiliar characters and lack of vowels make it damned tricky to get a handle on, but I suppose that all men have their limits. Honestly, personally speaking, I think Arabic writing is probably the most beautiful, like, alphabet and writing of all the writings. No offense to anybody who uses other alphabets, which is probably everyone watching. I don't think anybody Arab from Arabia and the surrounding areas actually watches my videos. I could know by going into the analytics, but I'm not doing that right now. Whose barrel were you on? Out of curiosity. That is something of a sore subject. My departure was involuntary, you say. I did not part ways with my employer under the best of terms. I will tell you that I worked for Grishin Aviako, but you'll forgive me if I don't want to go into detail. How can you afford all this? I'm gonna guess Auntie Chang is paying for that. Freelance, the risk of sounding immodest. I've commodified myself rather well. There are always corporations in need of design consultations. You'd be surprised by how lucrative such work can be. And there is always other work that I can turn to in a pinch. Are you a mercenary? A rather personal question, wouldn't you say? We're having a personal conversation. Indeed we are, but even in personal conversations, certain topics can be held off limits. Truth be told, I don't feel especially comfortable discussing my side work with relative strangers. Suffice it to say that my freelance activities often fall on the illicit end of the spectrum. Well, I'm just gonna guess. I dislike the term, but yes, I run the shadows. What gave me away? I'm gonna go with that. You're correct, of course. The residents of shadow communities are usually either too poor to live elsewhere or engage in behaviors too illicit to risk it. I will admit to being in the latter camp. You do sound like you're in the latter camp. Designing robotics is my passion, but it doesn't always pay the bills. My status as a foreigner has proven something of an impediment in this regard. And so, sorry as I may be to say it, the lion's share of my income flows from Koshei's aptitude for butchery. Such is life, I suppose. We do what we must to do what we love. Why not work together? A compelling offer. I'm doing quite well on my own, but I must admit that there are certain jobs for which I am unsuited. Magic eludes me, and I am not a decker. My strength comes from material objects in the real world, solid things with mass and heft, things that I can build and operate. Sadly, a great many clients are only interested in teams that display a mastery over the intangible. This group of yours, they have people who can cover those bases? If so, then perhaps we can help each other out. He's also good at that, so I don't know. This. In that case, I will accept your offer on a provisional basis. We'll do a few runs together and see how we get on. If our association bears fruit, it will continue. If not, I will bid you my farewell and go back to working alone. How does that sound? Welcome aboard. Very good, excellent. When you receive a job, you know where to find me. My skills and resources are at your disposal. And with that, I'm afraid that I must bid you good day. Still have work to do down here. This leg assembly won't clean itself. Cool. And I with you. So we got a rigger in the team, but I'm a rigger, so I actually don't care. Somebody was telling me that I didn't look at these. That may very well be true. Hold on. Mini launcher. I suppose mini launcher now strips 1 armor with every normal shot. That sounds okay. Attacks on her physical body reduced by 3 damage when she's jacked in. I think this is better than this. This one's more situational. I've never been attacked while being jacked in. Okay, Racter, the rigger. Yeah, I am a rigger as well, so I'm probably not going to use him. I'm probably going to use these 3. Predator, increased accuracy. Racter's drone Koshei gains a 5% accuracy boost for all attacks. Improve the drone. Mangler. Racter's drone Koshei again gains 1 movement speed, moving 7 tiles per 1 AP. I would probably go for accuracy. Let's wait and see what the other things are. Racter's drone gains an auto shotgun attachment, which does an additional 2 damage at the cost of 5% accuracy. Can hit adjacent targets, range of 6 or greater. Uses 10 ammo. Maybe. A mounted solid. Oh, I mean the melee systems. This attack's critical chance is greatly boosted. Racter's toolkit overclock ability. I have no comment here, by the way. I would probably go for the shotgun, but I don't know. Toolkit's overclock ability now gives the target a drone plus 2 AP and plus 2 movement for 1 round. Do I get that at some point? Cooldown on Racter's toolkit repair ability is reduced from 5 rounds to 3 rounds. Oh, is the toolkit not 1 time only? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. And I have to know what these abilities do on their base. Actually, I know this. This I'm assuming is 1-1. 2-2 is pretty nice. They're both pretty nice, actually. I don't know. I'd have to use them to actually know, and I'm not sure I'm gonna use them again. Of Koshei's firearm systems, attacks now pierce up to 2 armor. Or Clawed Feet. This causes all attacks on the melee systems to bleed targets. I would probably go for ranged. I don't see myself using the drone as melee as much, because that's kind of dangerous. At the same time, the use of going melee is that it flushes out the targets. When you are in melee range of someone, cover doesn't count anymore. There's that. You can use a melee character to flush them out and then get wrecked by the artillery, shall we call it. Koshei's firearms systems are augmented with the addition of a heavy laser mount. It does 4 HP damage, 1 AP damage. Heavy laser mount? That's so good. What is this? Melee reduces 4 armor. That's a lot of armor reduced. Then again, this is heavy laser. I'm gonna go with increased accuracy. That's fine. There we go. Okay, what's through the door? Gotta know. The bedroom. Let's just never mind that. Alright, let's just look at the terminal. I need money. This is gonna get me money after, you know, a little bit of work. 6 unread messages. And the jobs directory. Shadowrun BBS, whatever that is. Welcome to Hayoi! I'm not gonna read that with her voice. I don't feel like it. On behalf of your friends at the Hayoi Chamber of Commerce and Swift Winds, you welcome us. 3 jobs for me. Right. On DC. Resources. From Bao Jianjun. Various suppliers. Oh, yes, well, it's okay. I did that myself. Trusted. Club 88 is weapons. Yeah, I know that. Magical supplies is 5 phases. The path of the adept is the monk. Close quarter weapons as well. Chrome Alley is cybernetic enhancements and medical supplies. Yeah. Lost Techno, the Wampoan run supplier, the decking community. Drones is Reliable Matthews, etc., etc., etc. Mission computer. Collect and collate news reports, information media. Raymond Duncan, Walled City, etc. Oh. Sell pay data, get news from the street, and so on. Don't be shy about taking a look. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look, don't worry about it. Serial killer? What are the Wampoans? Techno fetishists. What's your thing? A serial killer. You need those murders stopped. Maximum Law, isn't that the shopkeep for Deckers? Go back for a second. Wait. Oh, it's in the old messages. Wait, no. So, oh, you get them in the new messages and then you accept them. So those are the new, so those are all the jobs. Stop the mass murders. Get things done, especially with regards to things that aren't legal in the strictest sense. That's exactly the kind of help I'm looking for. Recently, a rich investor by the name of Liu Hua decided to expand his manor house on the outskirts of Taipo. Too much money and enough space for fancy parties. He had a snag with local government officials. However, they suspected that the land his estate was built on may have pre-modern archaeological artifacts buried beneath it, all of them dating from the Song dynasty. Consequently, I was contracted as an archaeologist to oversee the excavations and ensure everything was properly recorded and catalogued. Sure enough, they were only a few days into the excavation when we discovered a series of tombs tombs lying beneath the site. The scope of the tombs was far beyond anything Liu or I had expected. Several acres of catacombs at least, with untouched relics throughout. What's more, they're certainly older than the Song Dynasty. They may even be from the previous cycle of magic. Before I can make my report to the Free Enterprise Zone authorities, I'm afraid Liu called in his allies in Tantien Incorporated. Liu sold the entire site to Tantien, who then leased it back to him. Because Tantien is considered to have extraterritoriality in Hong Kong, local authorities were powerless to stop Liu from looting the tombs. He immediately began building a museum, if you can call it that, atop the site. He had to call his museum the Emperor's Tomb. Can you believe that? The odds of there being an actual emperor buried there are basically nil, but he doesn't care. Anything to sell a few tickets. Liu has continued his excavations using Tantien contractors to expand the dig. What he didn't know is that I bugged his comlink before he fired me. Based on what I've heard, something strange is going on in the lower levels. Workers have been disappearing, only to be found dead several days later. Whatever is down there is too dangerous to be left in Liu's hands. Liu must have found my data line tapped, though I stopped receiving any information 3 days ago. Last thing I heard him talking about were a pair of ancient texts that workers had discovered. Then he issued an order that further excavation should be halted until he can secure the subterranean areas. I'm betting those texts are the cause of whatever's killing the workers. Magic. Great. I have quite a bit of experience with these kinds of dangerous excavations, but an operation of this scale is beyond me. I need a team that's tough enough to get in and survive, aren't afraid of making a mess, and who can get out with the books and whatever else they can carry. Beyond the 2 texts, I'm willing to pay very well for whatever other artifacts your team can liberate, and the more valuable the better. Don't worry, they'll be going to actual museums, not some rich playboy's mansion. I've got a second program in place that'll suppress Liu's security system. The team will have to be careful though, there are only so many alarms I can suppress. Go beyond that number and I'll scrub the mission. Scrub the mission. Okay, so we need to not be detected for the most part. Got it. It's a stealth mission. I've included a catalog of likely items to help the team appraise the most valuable ones. They don't need to be subtle, in fact I'd prefer they make it look like a common robbery. Tell them to smash and grab what they want. I mean, know when you find a suitable group of Shadowrunners. There you have it, nice simple robbery. Do you think you can handle something that basic, dear? I have faith in you. Let me know when you're ready to proceed. I'll contact Mr. Drake when you're on your way. Not yet. Geomantic sabotage.